Hi Leo, this is Tisch Aitken. This is your monthly horoscope for the month of October. We are currently in Mars retrograde, and we have been since September 9th, when Mars stationed retrograde at 28 degrees of the cardinal fire sign of Aries, and stationed retrograde, and it will be direct on November 13th. And it is very frustrating energy, and I actually did your video, your horoscope, and I uploaded it, and somehow it got cut off. And I know that I saw the whole video, so that's a mystery. But Mars retrograde can be very frustrating, and it does rule machinery, not so much technology, but it can. And certainly I've been having a lot of trouble with my technology, actually. So, and it's hitting my Mars, so maybe that's why. But nonetheless, this is a really tough time for all of us, and I wanted to make sure to do a good job for you, although I am more tired than the first time. But maybe this embodies the energy of it, because this is where you may have to do things over and over again. It is more frustrating. Mars retrograde is not easy to get things going forward and to propel things ahead. And it's squaring Saturn in the sky, and it will be in the beginning of October, as well, and then it'll be separating. But this is a challenging time for all of us. And Aries is a fellow fire sign. It's very compatible with you. And Mars is transiting in your house of higher learning and education, and it's been there since June 27th, and there until January 6th, when it exits Aries. But when Mars is retrograde, which happens only once every 2 years, it's very tough, and especially when it's in the sign it rules, in Aries. The last time Mars retrograded in Aries was 1988, and the time before it was 1941. So this doesn't happen very frequently, and it's challenging all of these planets in Capricorn, which represent restrictions, and it makes it more restrictive and more difficult to get things done. But I think that bearing in mind that this emphasizes our having to keep going forward in spite of this. I couldn't sleep last night, really, and yet I am doing this because I really want to do this. And we have to keep going ahead, and this is the way it is. But I'm feeling energized. I'm wearing red to bring the Mars energy out, and I think that that we just have to keep being mindful of the fact that people are going to get a lot more agitated and irritable, but also more tired and drained. We do need time to recharge, and this has not really been a year that's afforded us that luxury. And we begin the month on October 1st with a full moon in Aries that takes place at 5:05 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 9 degrees of Aries, and it falls in your house of higher learning and promotion and publicity. And if you're trying to promote yourself, whether you have your own business or maybe you're looking for a job or networking, this could bring completion and fruition to the project. It's also a good healing full moon because it is conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer. So it's a good time for you also for doing manifesting work, for all of us, of course, during this time. But with Mars in your house of higher learning and manifesting and seeking knowledge, and that's another good use of Mars retrograde for you to be able to deal with such a challenging type of energy, because it is very frustrating. And on the 2nd of October, Venus exits your sign and enters the sign of Virgo, where it will be until October 27th. And it's transiting in your house of money and income and what you value. And it's good for financial opportunities. It's good for you to be creative and to, develop that area. You're the most creative fire sign, in my opinion. And so I think that's a good use of the energy. And on October 4th is when things really get heated up for all of us, although we're going to feel the energy at the very end of September, because we feel the energy 5 days before and 5 days after. Pluto, which is one of the main players of the year. Saturn and Pluto met up at the world axis on January 12th and changed the world. And so Pluto is still at this degree, or is at this degree now again, and is setting off that historical conjunction about restructuring and death and rebirth and renewal and rebuilding and renovation. And Pluto is about power and power struggles, and it's about wounds and about healing. So, and and also money, joint resources. So it's going to be very explosive time. I imagine the beginning of October, it's going to really escalate. And then on October 8th, transiting Mars is going to reach 22 degrees of the cardinal fire sign of Aries, which again sets off that world axis and that Saturn-Pluto conjunction. And, so everybody's going to be feeling it, and people, that's a very belligerent aspect. So try to do transformational work, healing work. Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, and it's the ruler of Scorpio. It's a very heavy, I know it's demoted to being a dwarf planet, but it's a heavy hitter. So just recognizing that this is going to be very intense, and people are going to be looking for a fight with this energy. Good use is to do healing work. And again, for you, studying, doing things in that way, seeking wisdom, seeking maybe different types of, manifesting. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this together, but it's going to be tough, and especially as we get to early, mid-October. And on the 10th of October, we have Venus in Virgo in your house of income and how you earn money, making a trine to Uranus, the planet of the unexpected and surprise and innovation. And Uranus has been transiting in your house of career on and off since May of 2018. And this is a really innovative and creative aspect, and it could be excellent for financial windfalls, unexpected financial opportunities, professional opportunities, good for innovating and very creative energy. And on the 11th of October, the Sun in Libra, which is transiting in your house of communication and thoughts and ideas, forms a square to Jupiter in Capricorn. And all of these planets in Capricorn, this restructuring theme, has been in your house of work and habits. So you're restructuring your habits for work, for health, and your daily routine. But definitely that can affect the workplace. Could be a lot going on, a really busy time on the 11th. On the 12th of October, that's a really nice date to target, because Jupiter forms a sextile, which is an aspect of opportunity, to Neptune in Pisces. And that's a really manifesting and creative aspect, very good energy. Jupiter is transiting in your house of work, and it's forming a sextile to Neptune in Pisces, which is in Pisces is your Neptune's transiting in your 8th house of joint resources and also around healing. So that could be very good for repairing your finances and for doing healing work as well, manifesting around money, and again around wounds, because all of us have wounds right now in the time that we're in. And on the 13th of October, Mercury stations retrograde at 11 degrees of Scorpio. It's retrograding in your house of home and family, and it stations direct on November 3rd at 25 degrees of Libra. So it initially retrogrades in your emotional center and around family. So maybe there are things that come up around the home. Maybe you're fixing up things that need to be repaired, or things, suddenly need to be repaired at home. Pardon me. And then Mercury re-enters your house of communication, and maybe you hear from, that could be very likely to hear from people from your past. And again, it's a time where since you're doing so much with learning, the 3rd house where Mercury is going to re-enter at the end of October, because Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio, and then on the 27th of October, Mercury re-enters the sign of Libra. So So the theme will be home and family, but also around communication. And again, if you're thinking about going back to school or taking classes, or maybe you're marketing yourself and you're reviewing your social media plan or your marketing plan, that would be a good use of that. But you could definitely have miscommunication with Mercury retrograde in the house of miscommunication. But with the energy right now, I would imagine that we all will be having some. So, and then we have on the 16th of October, we have a new moon in Libra that takes place in your house of the mind and thoughts and ideas. And it takes place at 3:31 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And it's at 23 degrees of Libra. The new moon is always a great time to set intentions and for new beginnings, but bear in mind that this new moon has hostile energy to it too, unfortunately, because it's opposing Mars in Aries and Eris, the goddess of discord. So that's, combative energy, and they're squaring Pluto, which can bring power struggles. So it's a new moon with new beginnings, but there could be endings in the air in that one too. But at least definitely use this again for doing affirmations, for for ideas that you want to bring into fruition, because we have a few more months of this Capricorn tail. And for you, it's in your house of work and habits. What do you want to commit to before Saturn and Jupiter exit Capricorn at the end of December? So that's something for you to think about with the retrograde, and a lot around preparing, I think, through taking classes and other ways you can review those options, and even ways for you to practice more self-care. That's another area where you're really focusing with this historical lineup of Capricorn in your house of daily routine. And we have on the 22nd of October, the sun enters the sign of Scorpio, and it'll be transiting in your house of home and family, and it'll be there until November 21st. And that at least will help with Mercury retrograde, because I know Mercury is retrograding in your house of family, but big focus around that area. And on the 27th of October, Mercury exits your house of home, enters your house of communication and marketing and interviewing and all of that. Maybe you're returning things that you've done earlier in the year. And Venus enters the sign of Libra on October 27th as well, and it's in its rulership in Libra, and it will be there until November 21st, and transiting in your house of communication and networking and local activity. Maybe you're getting involved in some neighborhood stuff. Great time for networking for you. And then on the 31st of October, we have a full moon that occurs at 10:49 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time with a conjunction to Uranus in Taurus, and it's at 8 degrees of Taurus, and so that's going to be quite Halloween full moon, of course, this year, and then this full moon in your house of career with the planet of innovation could bring completion to a big project, could bring a big surprise, could bring a big change, but expect the unexpected with Uranus, and it's going to be a very heavy month, October. So you want to really prepare yourself, and I think, the manifesting with Mars retrograding in the 9th house for you is a really good way to tap into this, and I wish you a lot of luck. Thank you very much. Take care. All right, bye-bye.